Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportists.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook and I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
Hey, good to see everybody.
Doug Lansdowne.
Good evening. Hope everybody had a good day.
And Tom Mathis.
Hello, everyone.
We are recording on tax day, so at this time you have like 5 hours to get your taxes in. Hopefully by the time you're hearing this, you will have either filed for an extension or turned your taxes in. In this edition, 2 home runs from Weatherholt and 2 goals from Snuggerud in the same night. Have we seen the future? Jordan Walker moves toward phenom status. Rory joins elite company in Augusta. And just how much will your college basketball team cost next year? The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. Learn more at firstcoaststeel.com. That's one, stcoaststeel.com. And we will hear more from them later in the show. And tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC, here to help the one truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. Contact Dave at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Folks, if you have just a second or two and could follow the podcast, leave us a like, maybe a review. You have no idea how much that helps us out. We're on X, Facebook, Instagram, very successfully on TikTok this last week, to our surprise. And it didn't even involve dancing. I don't know, Doug. And you can watch this goofiness on YouTube at STL Sportists. And our website is stlsportists.com. Let's go to quick hits, Joe Sperlin. What do you have?
Well, what would it be if there wasn't a little college football conference realignment in the news? And Louisiana Tech, after threatening lawsuit as they got their lawyers together, paid Conference USA $8 million to immediately go to the Sun Belt starting in the fall. Of course, in March, both conferences released Louisiana Tech being part of their conference. So Louisiana Tech there for about 2 months had a 20-game football schedule. So they started off in 89 as a Division I independent, bounced around, and then they were in the WAC, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense of Louisiana being in the WAC. So back then they still had that. But now then they were in Conference USA for about 13 years, and now they probably went into a conference that they needed to be in, the Sun Belt, which leaves 2 divisions of 7 teams, the only ones that have 2 divisions, because of Texas State. Of course, as we would all expected, they are going to the new Pac-12. So there were lawyers and $8 million for them to get out a year early. I guess life isn't so great in Conference USA. They wanted out of there pretty quick.
They must have not liked that trip to Delaware.
Yeah, that trip to play the Blue Hens couldn't have been too much fun, you know?
The Sun Belt might be the only conference that actually kind of makes sense geographically, probably because they can't afford to go anywhere else.
True.
So,
True.
Doug Lansdowne, what do you have?
Well, for everybody that was worried about Rick Pitino finding his point guard, he found him. I don't know if you saw it or not. 6'5", Quinn Ellis. He's 23 years old. He's been playing professionally since 2019 overseas.
God.
But he found his point guard.
Oh.
So, do you want the 5-star recruit, or do you want the guy that's been over there overseas for since 2019 playing professionally? So, yeah, he found his point guard. It's a different world.
Completely.
My goodness gracious. Yeah, you just, I have no words. I have no words. Tom Mathis.
So I'm going to do something very different for me and bring up an NFL point on my quick hit, but it's NFL history.
Oh,
In 1999 Super Bowl. Yep. 1999, the Rams won the Super Bowl. They went back 2 years later, but all of that almost didn't happen. This week, Dave McGinnis passed away. He was coach for the Arizona Cardinals. But in 1999, he was in Chicago and kind of had agreed to terms, but they hadn't finalized the contract. He stayed in Chicago and found out that the McCaskies scheduled a press conference for the next day to announce their new coach, but they hadn't agreed on all the terms, contractual terms. So McGinnis got mad. He left Chicago. He turned down the offer. And his offensive coordinator, if he would taken the job, would have been Mike Martz.
Mike Martz. I never knew that.
I didn't either. I heard Howard Balzer tell that story last night. And if that would have happened, the Rams would have probably never made it to the Super Bowl. And you might not have heard of Kurt Warner.
You might not have heard of Kurt Warner, and you got to remember, it's not like Dick Vermeil's judgment before that was great. You know, he was Mike White was involved.
Yes.
And there was one reason where we were getting, or there was this one period of time, Tom, that I know you remember, that we were getting all of these delay of game things, and it was the offensive coordinator would call the play, and then Mike White could veto it, and then one other person could veto it, and if it made it through this little committee, then they got it into the quarterback, and usually there were 7 seconds on the play clock by the time it made it to the quarterback.
and the quarterback's doing this the entire time.
Well, the quarterback was Tony Banks, so he's probably just going with the flow.
Yeah, and there you go, Tom. Think about that. Well, and not only that, but you had Tony Banks and June Henley and Eddie Kinnison.
Yes.
That was the offensive firepower that you had. Yes. What I never heard was, if Mike White vetoed the play, then what happened?
They probably got the delay of game penalty.
I probably did. Either that, or you look over and Tony's taking a time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow, it's great to have those. Oh my gosh,
those what ifs. Yeah,
exactly. So for mine, I'm going to. Sometimes there's just stories that just keep on giving and keep on giving, and for us this year, and in particular for me, that is the World Cup, and I just feel really lucky that the World Cup continues to do incredibly stupid things. And, I just want to say that if you like soccer and are thinking about going to the World Cup, you might really want to think about maybe not. Because last week we talked about the tiers, and as Doug said, they were kind of recommendations. You were basically in the stadium. That story got weirder this week. I won't go into that. But what they did this year, the New Jersey Transit, they're currently planning to charge people more than $100 for rail tickets from Penn Station to MetLife Stadium. And you're like, wow, that sounds excessive, Ron. How much does that 18-mile trip usually cost? Usually that trip costs $12.90. Now, Joe, you have a math degree. $12.90, $100. That seems like a little bit of an increase to me.
A pretty good increase. I would say the reason people are taking that is to avoid the god-awful amount for the parking by the stadium. That's probably $250.
Probably so. And now the New Jersey Transit ordinarily would have, reduced prices for seniors, children, and disabled passengers, which seems like a decent thing to do. No, everyone pays $100.
No.
Everyone pays $100.
So is that a
Now,
round trip or is it just
yeah,
one way?
that's your round trip. That's your
Okay.
round trip. It used to be $12, and now it's $100. Sources familiar with the plans at NJ Transit denied that their increased prices are about profiteering, instead arguing that they need to raise the prices in order to prevent losses or excessive costs being transferred to local taxpayers.
Okay.
I cannot
Whatever.
explain. I cannot explain. So once again, as I believe Keith suggested, Keith Farrell, our friend who's on assignment tonight, buy an entertainment system, buy a home theater instead of going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
You'll be much better off and you'll be much happier. And if you have a home theater, Tom Mathis, you could watch Jordan Walker lead the National League in home runs like he's doing right now.
It is so unbelievable. He's been on such a stretch, and you just you want to watch his at bats now just to see what happens. And I was I didn't think he would be able to do it. I'm glad that he is, and it's fun to watch. And like I said last week, it's really fun to watch him go the other way, and he's going the right field with power. So it's he's really turned around. I just hope he can. My two fears is I hope he can keep it up, and then second, what if people stop pitching to him? They don't have anybody behind him right now to make you pitch to him. So why would they keep pitching to him?
Are you telling me that Urias does not drive fear into the hearts of opposing?
No, he does not. I even heard somebody talk today that maybe they move Burleson or Herrera behind him just so he keeps getting pitches.
Yeah, and then you run out of guys. That's a
Yeah.
problem. Doug, I want to hit on something Tom said because I caught myself doing this, and I actually had to stop and think. I was walking through the living room, and I looked up and I saw Walker batting, and I stopped. I'm like, okay, let's see this at bat.
Oh,
I mean,
Well-
he's kind of reaching that Pujols McGuire status there, isn't he?
Well, the Cardinals on a whole. So here's last night when they looked feeble in that seventh inning. The last 3 years, I would have gone to bed. But I thought, I'm going to hang around, got a few things here, see what happens. Well, I'll be damned if they didn't come back and win it in extra innings. And then today I was at school and I got the game on the computer and I'm in and out, in and out, in and out, Before last 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't even put the game on computer. And then I go in there and I was like, all right, they got the lead and then they win. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to pass judgment. Third, fourth week in a row, I'm enjoying watching them.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Joe, there's a guy that plays right field for the Yankees, and we've heard this comparison because they're big dudes, and it took a while for them to kind of come around. And the Yankees were getting tired of this guy, and they're saying he may just be a big guy that never happens. And we got a long way to go, but you can see some comparisons there just a little bit.
well, Walker, like I said, he's on pace to hit 50 home runs. Now, you say, "Oh, that's crazy," but I can sum it up in one word: you never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Ron, I think one person who deserves a lot of credit for Walker is John Jay. I know he's done a lot of work with him in the outfield. His outfield play is just it's incredible right now. I
Yeah.
didn't think it'd ever be possible for him to do that, but I think he's probably had some mental effect on him too. And Jay's just so positive and everything. I just think he's helped him out mentally, physically, and every way possible.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Can John Jay go to the bullpen?
He's a lefty.
Yeah, I mean, and talk with them a little bit.
I'd see John Jay a little bit like JoJo Romero, kind of the crafty left-hander out there. Doug, you as a coach have probably kind of seen those teams where you're like, they're not as talented as us. We have a better game plan. and then lo and behold, it's close late, and then you're sitting there going, how did we lose to them? Does that kind of seem like what other teams think when they go against the Cardinals right now?
I think that's it to a T. Yeah. But, you go back, they're doing a lot of small ball. They do play hard. And, I still am worried to death about the pitching, starting and bullpen. But, just like I said, last night, I would have been sound asleep when all that happened. So they still got my attention. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So did they come from behind today? I'm trying to think.
It was tied
okay,
1-1. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have 7. Before this morning, it was 7 come from behind wins. So the thing is, though, you got to be behind for it to be a come from behind win, right, Tom?
Yes, you do. I mean, somehow the pitching staff has always given us some early runs. But I mean, they've like Mays had a couple good starts in a row. Libator, this last start was kind of rough, but he's been decent. McGreevy's been good. Plante, yeah. And Leahy, the verdict's still out on him. But, I mean, yeah, they've been getting out some early runs. And then it's when they get in the bullpen, 5th, 6th, 7th inning, that's when everything happens.
Yeah. Yeah, Hunter Dobbins, who we acquired from Boston in one of those many, many, many trades, is rehabbing. And so you've got to wonder if that might, could that be Palante? It's not out of the question. I know they say that they are, committed to Leahy in the rotation, but, you got to get some help for that bullpen somewhere.
Leahy would help the bullpen a lot. That would be a good thing. I don't even think a 6-man rotation would be a bad thing. Bring Dobbins up and, give them all an extra day's rest. But moving Leahy to the bullpen's not out of the realm of possibility.
No. So if you told me that they would be where they are at this point in the year, Doug, I would be thrilled and delighted. I mean, I don't see how you can't be.
Nope. You take every bit of it, and you're right. You've got to be, just got to be happy with, especially the younger guys. I thought they played really good. So, and really,
Yeah.
Mason Wynn hasn't gotten going yet. Herrera really hadn't gotten going yet either.
Nope.
Mm-mm. No, they don't have. I think they have like 3 players with OPS pluses over 100. So 3 hitters, so that's not exactly tearing it up. And with the Pirates being your first play, your Pirates and your Cincinnati Reds, Joe Sperlin,
That's right.
sitting atop the Central. Suddenly the Central's starting to look wide open. Hey, Joe, the Mets called up. They're struggling a bit. Who you going to call? Tommy Pham.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Bobby Bowe.
No.
Hey,
He's
they're
under
still
contract.
paying him. They're still paying him.
He is under contract. That's a good point.
Hey, the Weather Holt looking good. I mean, the people that had him high in the Rookie of the Year, I know it's still early, but he's looked really well.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing you talk about first place is there's about 17 games. It seems like almost everybody except the Dodgers, because they've earned it and they paid for it. It's like everybody is like 10-7 or 7-10. So no
Right.
one has really run away with anything. Like the Cardinals are half a game out of the wild card. I know it's April 15th, but still. But I mean, no one's running away I mean, my gosh, the Sacramento A's, Vegas A's, Oakland A's are in first place. So
Yeah.
I saw a power ranking the other day that had him like 3rd or 4th, and I'm like, what? Was this a mistake?
yeah. What year was this? What is this from? What did I get to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you've got Gibson and Carlton, oh hey, wrong year. So the one thing that our friends, MLB correspondent at large Joe Sperlin, the one thing that baseball loves its numbers and its analytics, and the one thing that they have not caught up to is our new favorite thing to watch, the ABS.
Oh, yeah.
because there's absolutely no uniform strategy whatsoever. In the first week, the Guardians were 2 for 12 in their challenges. The Orioles were 12 for 14. The Twins challenged 26 times to lead everyone. There's a fantastic website called Tap to Challenge that breaks it down by team, batter, or catcher, player, and it's interesting because, Joe, some guys are, some teams and some players are challenging in the first and second innings, and some of the stats guys are saying, that's insane. You need to be saving that for later.
As I will say, the baseball analytic guys, they will end up, once they get the numbers, they'll end up saying you're not allowed to do anything till the fifth inning or whatever inning, or the score has to be this amount, or certain players, they're going to say, hey, by the way, buddy, you're 1-11. You're not doing it again. You look at the dugout immediately and we'll give this. If not, you're not allowed to ever do that. Ron, that thing you sent about the umpire, I can't remember exactly. I was laughing so hard when I was reading it. I hope you can remember it.
I will
what
post
it was.
That.
Okay.
We will post that. It was so good. It was so good.
I was watching that Mariners and Astros game the other day, and Brendan Donovan, former Cardinal, he challenged the second pitch of the bottom of the first inning, and he was wrong.
Yeah.
So the Mariners went the whole rest of the game with one challenge. I don't know if they used it or not. Kind of quit watching, but the second pitch.
What I want to know, Doug, and I don't know if this will ever come out, is if like a hitter groans and doesn't challenge, as if an umpire's kind of like baiting him, going, "Oh, you don't like that? You're going to challenge?
Yeah, go ahead."
You know that happens. You know that has already happened. It's going to happen again. You know it. Yeah.
Hey, the umpire says, "Go ahead." Yeah. What is it? Make my day. Make my day. Clint Eastwood. Go ahead. I dare you.
You know what else is happening is like Ohtani. Apparently last night he went to adjust his cap, and they took that as a challenge.
Oh my gosh.
And made him. So that's happened a couple times already.
And oh, by the way, we have a St. Louis City goal here.
Hey, and you know you gotta have a catcher sitting there on a call go, "Oh, I can't believe you're not challenging that."
Right.
Or, hey, that was really close. Hey, and I hear your wife. What a dancer your wife is there.
Saw your wife at the hotel bar last night. She's quite a dancer. The other thing, Doug, from a strategic standpoint, the use it or lose it timeout in college basketball, I found it interesting when you've got like in the ninth inning and it's like, maybe 2 out and there's a pitch that's not even that close. And the catcher will say, what the hell? We're either going to extra innings or what? Challenge that pitch. And it's like, not that close.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to think they think that too. So sure.
Why leave it? Why leave it?
Don't leave it on the table.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, anything else around the league you see that's of interest?
No, like I said, I'm just really surprised at right now that kind of everybody's still in it, So
Parity.
It's not anybody that's sitting there going, "Oh, they started the year off losing 12 in a row or winning 12 in a row." It's about everybody's couple games from 500. So
Pete Rozelle in heaven takes a drag off his cigarette and gives a thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly.
Doug, tradition unlike any other. Rory McIlroy. What can you say?
Yeah, you called it. Great call last week.
Right.
So
thank you.
It was.
I also said Jordan Walker would be the first Cardinal to lose his starting position. So let's just be clear here.
It evens out, doesn't it? You're right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're 1-1.
Yeah, that was a really, really good Masters. And you could root for several of those guys coming down the stretch. I just thought it was a really, really good Masters. And Rory even said it himself. He said, sometimes I'm better when I have to get behind and make myself get back out in front again. So, but when he hit that shot in on 12 on that par 3, hit that little punch cut in there and it hit and spun towards the pin, I said, it's over. He's winning.
That's it. Yep, that's it. Yeah, and that wasn't necessarily the case after the first 4 holes. He didn't exactly come out on fire.
No, he like I said, he admitted himself, but it was really good, and poor Justin Rose. I mean, if he's back up there again next year, everybody's going to be rooting for him like crazy. So he was there. He had a chance. It was just a really good Masters, and it was great because the sun was shining the whole time, and it was enjoyable to watch.
It was. Hey, Tom, on 17, Rory said, I know I can win the tournament if I take 4 good swings, and I took 1. Didn't exactly finish with a full tank of gas there.
He did not. He pretty much coasted to the finish, but he made it. I mean, that's the big thing. The guys behind him, I mean, Scotty was there, but there was a couple, putts that he left out there. And Cam Young, he had a chance. And like we said, Justin Rose, but nobody was taking everything down that day. That's for sure. When Scotty hit that branch on that from the rough on that one time, I thought, oh man, he's done. And then he ended up birdieing that hole, right?
Yeah, that's 15.
I thought, oh, that's it, he's done. But no, he was right there.
I had never seen the allergens fly out of a tree like that before. That was kind of fun. Joe, CBS, what I put in our show notes, Vandeveld, the 18th hole, a little bit. There was a period of time where you didn't know where anyone's ball was. They couldn't find anyone's second shot.
Well, I like when didn't Roy say that on my tee shot? I had no idea where it was at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And neither did CBS, and that makes, hey, that's exciting TV right there. Well, we can't. Where did he go? Nobody knows.
And then they're both in the bunker.
Yeah. And the excitement and kind when Jim Nantz said, "There's one," it's kind of like, oh my gosh, they're as in the dark as we are.
Yeah.
CBS does a great job with golf, but I've heard so many complaints about their coverage this weekend. You just don't ever hear that about them. But like one person I was reading, he said that they were like 10 minutes behind on the shots. He was on the course and watching, and it was 10 minutes later before CBS broadcast it.
My goodness.
Well, it's like when you're watching it, and I was watching it with Rhonda, and then you heard a large roar, and I can't even remember who it was, but I just said, Scotty made that birdie putt on 15. That's what that roar was. And then they're like, a minute later, they're like, all right, here's Scotty on 15. Well, I'm pretty sure this is going to go in.
Yep.
Dan McLaughlin was doing the podcast with Martin Kilcoyne, a very, very good pod they have up here called Great Talk. And Dan said, Dan has called pretty much every sport. And he said golf has to be the toughest sport to call because you have to know all of the players. You have to know what's going on. You have to just basically be calling things that you haven't seen or that you're not aware of. And it's not like a football game where everything's happening right there in front of you, or a baseball game or anything else.
Yeah.
And so, it's great that Jim Nantz is, as good. And he said, no one's done it better or will do it better than Jim Nantz. Doug, our old buddy Sergio, had a moment, didn't he?
He's had several moments over the years. Of course, Robert McIntyre, he flipped off the 15th green. So, they can not invite them next year. It is the Invitational. So it doesn't matter if you qualify for it or not. It is. I would love if they told Sergio, sorry, you're not coming back.
Now, as our resident golf historian, have they ever done that to a past champion? Say, sorry, you're not. We'll keep your jacket.
Well, I think they told Fuzzy he didn't need to come back on the grounds.
That's right.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I think they told Fuzzy don't come back and visit. So
yeah.
But
that makes. I do recall that now.
Yeah, and Sergio does stuff all the time. It's just on live, and they cheer him when he does it there. So
I thought Sergio would have calmed down after he won his Masters because he finally got that major. And I think he would have calmed down, but he's just immature.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
He is who he Dennis Green. He is who we thought he was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doug, anything else catch your eye at the Masters?
No. Like I said, it was just really, really enjoyable with the weather. And, I mean, I think there was a lot of people thought, well, Rory's going to win by 12 strokes. So, but he came back to the pack, and the pack also had to come get him, and like I said early in our chat, the way those guys went out early and a couple of them were blitzing it, I thought somebody's just going to light it up. But in typical Masters fashion, they all have a way of just bunching up at like 10, 11, 12, 13 under par, and they just get right there. So just a good tournament.
It was a good tournament, and we'll post it on our Facebook page, but the Pittsburgh Pirate broadcast team did an intro like they were doing the Masters when they were playing the Cubs. It was fantastic. So late breaking news this afternoon, Doug. Apparently the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Fund has decided, and believe it or not, this has to do with the war, not necessarily, at least this is what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
It doesn't have to do with the performance of LIV, but they could be ending funding, and LIV could be ending very soon.
Yeah, I had heard that a few weeks ago, just in some rumbling stuff. Actually, on the Golf Channel, I was just watching a little bit of a snippet, and the guy said, "Don't be surprised if some of the LIV or some of the Saudi guys don't meet and talk about, because I mean, this is what year 4 of." They're taking a bath. I mean, a bath. So, and eventually losing billions, somebody has to look around every now and then and say, what the hell are we doing here? So,
yeah.
But
not
it won't,
so good.
It won't affect, I mean, that's the deal with Rahm and DeChambeau. I do think Terrell Hatton's a little bit different guy. He's fire and stuff and everything, but, I think beating all those old foreign guys with crooked teeth and long duck dong, it's not that hard to do anymore, So all of a sudden you go to the PGA Tour and you got to beat some guys.
In a disco. Don't forget it's in a disco.
In a disco, yep.
Do you think that the PGA is going to kind of welcome them back, or is this an extortion situation in terms of, hey, you want your card back?
Well, they kind of set the precedent with Brooks, and so they've got some groundwork to go off of there. They probably can tweak that system a little bit and everything, but they kind of Brooks is playing well and he's having to work his butt off and he's doing and stuff, but he has to really perform to get anywhere close to getting in those signature events, and that's where those guys make all their guaranteed money and stuff. So those guys will probably come scrambling back, but there's not much to come back to.
Question, did those guys, the money that they got from LIV, did they get that up front? I mean, do they have that money? Or
I have never heard that for sure. Supposedly it was, you hear that they got a little bit up front and then they got a little bit the next year. And then, but some of them signed a 1-year contract and then some of them signed 3-year contracts. So, but I don't know for sure how the money worked.
That's where the lawsuits will come from.
Yeah.
There you go, Joe. Back to being a lawyer.
Hey, good luck taking that to a Saudi court and getting money from those guys.
Get yourself a Kevlar bodysuit before you go into that action.
Hey, never mind. I'll let that go.
On that note of personal protection, we've reached the halfway point of this episode of the St. Louis Sportists podcast. When we come back, we take a look at the NCAA roundup. Just how much is your college basketball team, going to cost next year? St. Louis Blues are winding it up, and no, we're not going to look at our predictions this week. We're going to wait till Keith comes back because he has to suffer through that too.
Yeah.
And St. Louis City in action right now and playing better soccer. All of this and more when we come back.
Spring storm and tornado season has arrived. Are you prepared? Why not build a new steel barndominium or outbuilding that will have you ready to weather the storms? Do you want your next home or building to be engineered for the proper wind loads for your area? Then look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. First Coast Steel offers excellent material value and can help to reduce your insurance costs. And they can help you with your needs right here in the Midwest, where we see tornadoes and flooding, along with infestations of mold, rodents, and termites. Let First Coast Steel design your next building project and keep you and your family safe. Call 912 314-4848 or get inspired and design your own by visiting them online at the number 1stcoaststeel.com. Storms will happen. Prepare yourself with a new First Coast Steel building. Discounts for military and first responders.
And we are back on the St. Louis Sportists podcast, joined by Joe Sperlin, Doug Lansdowne, and Tom Mathis, with Keith Farrell on assignment. My name is Ron Cook, and it's time for the NCAA Roundup, which you never know what we're going to get into in the NCAA Roundup, Joe Sperlin. The Athletic had a story today about the cost to build a winner in men's basketball. And an insider told The Athletic $10 million, Joe, and then they broke it down. Some interesting numbers in the breakdown, too.
Yes. Now, 10 million will be a winner, not the winner. I think some of those guys are spending more than that. Hey, I would almost say their starting lineup's probably 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they say borderline starter, $1.5 million, definitive starter, but not all conference, $2.5 million, all conference, $3 million and above, NBA draft pick, $3 million floor. So yeah, that guy could be up to $4 million.
It sounds like a fantasy sport league where you have money and you're like, I can't get all the best players. I got to buy a decent player for $500,000, and I need a couple more that will play for 100,000, which is true. I've heard that from a team that's saying, "Hey, this is the amount we have, and we can only get this many players, and then I have to get a couple players at $50,000, and hope they'll come for $50,000." Oh, and hey, by the way, if you come here, we'll give you a free education too.
Nobody cares about that anymore.
Yeah.
And then you almost get shocked when you see a high school player get recruited. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to give you an education, and you're going to get the best dorms and the best food and the best care. And oh, by the way, give you $100,000 of free education, and then we'll throw another 100,000 on there. Oh, that's not enough. Gee, sorry. Okay.
I heard stories that Kentucky's salary cap this year was $20 million, and look where that got them. These guys got to be better at spending their money.
That's a bad business model, is what that is.
Yes,
It really is.
That's a bad business model.
It's like in the early 80s when the Yankees had twice as much money as everyone and were finishing third.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
Joe, back to another athletic story. They said who is, and this was a pretty, it was a statistically significant number of respondents. They said, who's the best coach in college football right now? 2 out of 3 people said to Google Kurt Signetti.
Yeah.
67%.
As of right now, that's good, Doug. As of right now, I don't know how you can argue on that. I mean, my gosh, of what he's done. Now, once again, it'll be interesting. Can he continue to do it next year?
Yeah. The heat is on. Kirby Smart, Marcus Freeman, Ryan Day, and Dan Lanning close out the top 5. Anyone you think, Doug or Tom, anyone you think the fans missed there in the top 5?
I don't know how Marcus Freeman got in there. I mean, I think he's a pretty good coach, but he hasn't won a whole heck of a lot, and he's lost some pretty big games the last couple of years. Northern Illinois 2 years ago, and there was somebody this year, I forget who it was, that they lost their first 2 games this year. So
A&M, yeah.
Yeah, A&M and Miami, right?
I was going to say Mario Cristobal, pretty good coach.
Yeah. Keith got that one right. That was his preseason quantifiable prediction. Is part of it maybe that he's just not Brian Kelly?
That probably has a lot to do with it, and Notre Dame fans probably vote a lot, so yeah, that probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, you're a whole lot better than that last guy. So, Doug, the Alabama athletic director, Greg Byrne, said, and this is a direct quote regarding the SEC championship game, "I think the ship has sailed. It's run its course." Are we going to see schools canceling the championship games, or is there just too much money?
I think they have a shelf life of maybe 2 more years. I think this upcoming year, you'll still see a majority of the ones in it, but I think it's a shelf life of maybe 2 years max.
I think the 31 is the TV contract with that, so that's where I could see that change. And by that time, if they expand the college football playoffs, then I think those big time conference games are done.
And Joe, you made a fantastic point last December when we were talking about these conference games. And okay, if you've wrapped up a spot in the playoffs, nothing can go well for you, but you can have bad things happen.
Yeah. It's going to be like the NFL week 17. We're guaranteed a spot, and they've kind of established what happens if you lose. You don't drop very much if you lose to a pretty good team. So, yeah, that'll be the next one that'll happen. Is you're going to see a lot of guys coming, and it becomes almost a version of a spring game.
Tom, it becomes like that fourth preseason game we used to have to pay for.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Where nobody ever heard of is playing in that game. I mean, the starters don't even suit up most of the time. And it's guys that you're like, I've never heard of this guy.
Who's number 44? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is he starting at running back?
Yeah.
But speaking of numbers, Tom, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. If you're going to buy a Blues sweater, 21 might be a good one.
21 would be an awesome one. If he might be the next guy. Well, I think Holloway probably be the next one, get an extension, but Snuggerud probably be pretty soon after that, and lock him up for a long time because I think he's going to be a great player. That shot that he has is just unbelievable. It's hard to stop, and if Thomas can stay healthy, and they leave those three alone, Holloway, Snuggerud, and Thomas, I think he could probably score 50 goals pretty consistently.
Joe Sperlin, how many times have I sent you a text that Jimmy Snuggerud has scored a goal lately?
Here in the past 3 weeks, quite a bit. Hey, I like the season's over, and you guys are confident of next year. Already.
For Blues fans, this is what we do.
That 0.3% is going to start just getting higher and higher.
It's the hopium cycle, I tell you.
Yes.
The life of a Blues fan. As soon as the season's over.
But you're right. You have sent a lot. I mean, seriously, a lot in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's scoring like crazy, and the team is winning. I think I saw, Tom, since like March 1st, it's like a .758 winning percentage.
Yeah,
since March 1st, it's crazy.
Yeah, as soon as that playoff percentage dropped to about 0.01, they started playing great, and then the lottery pick percentage was probably about 20%, and they started playing great. Now it's down to about 3%. So, they're going the wrong way.
There's no tanking in the NHL.
Not in St. Louis.
Not here. No, they closed the season, Doug, against the Mammoth.
Yes,
tomorrow night. And I don't know if you've seen it, but the Mammoth have designed their Zamboni to look like an actual mammoth.
Hey, I got 2 points to bring up.
Oh, keep going.
The Blues traded Justin Falk at the trade deadline, which was what, 2 months ago? Not that long ago?
Yep.
He still finished the 10th on the team in goals, even not being here for the last 2 months and being a defenseman. I mean, he was leading the team most of the year in goals. And then this one's really going to get you because Nick Busted, he was traded before the Olympic break. He was tied for 11th with 6 goals.
Oh, my.
And he didn't play hardly after the first of the year with the Blues.
Nope.
What we had hoped was going to be a great season and lots of goals did not materialize.
It did not.
When we do this Blues recap, I will not be here. I'm not going to face that music. So just to let you know now.
We did not choose wisely, Joe, as they said in a certain movie that we've seen several times. Robert Thomas, Tom, did lead the team in goals, assists, and points. That's pretty. That ain't bad.
It's good, and again, it's the injuries. He almost finished at a point per game. He was real close. He ended up with 63 games and 61 points, so a point per game, just a little under. So, but I'd like to really dive into it, see how many points that the three of them had in the last couple of weeks, and see what what they did. One thing I also want to see, my top defense pairing for the next 10 years is Philip Broberg and Logan Mailloux. Just let them go. I think they'll be fun to watch. They'll put up some points, but they'll also play good defense. So we got our first line and our first defense pairing.
There is hope. Just wait till our predictions next year. And
50 goals.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Except for there's 2 people who may or may not have played their last game at home last night. One is Jordan Bennington, and the other is Mr. Kyrou, who disappointed on an epic level this season. I don't know. I'm actually all for keeping Bennington around because with 2 more games on the schedule and no real help coming from the minors, and with the salary cap getting a little bit of help there, why not keep him around?
Exactly. I mean, to me, you leave it up to him. If he wants to go, try to go somewhere and be the number 1 goalie, I would, give him that opportunity. But everything I've heard is he's been a great guy in the room this year, and with all the young kids, that's really what they need is to have that good positive impression that he's leaving for them. So Hofer's done a great job. He's the number 1 goalie, but let Bennington stay or go, whatever he wants to do.
Yeah. Yep. Agree.
But Kyrou, he's got to go. I don't care. I don't think you're going to get much for him at this point, but if you can get a 3rd round pick, I'd say adios.
I have a feeling that if Keith Farrell were here, he would say, "I'll help him pack."
I'll drive him to the airport.
That just sounds like something Keith would say. St. Louis City right now just went to halftime in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup against Tulsa with a 2-0 lead. They had another draw. Joe Sperlin, they've gone 3 games without losing, so they've got a 3-game, you don't want to call it undefeated, but a 3-game non-losing streak. Yeah, there you go. In the rankings, MLS, they're 21 out of 30. They had a 1-1 draw in Dallas. They kept the highest scoring team in the MLS in check. They're just playing better soccer, and that tends to kind of be what people are saying around town. So there is optimism. They go into the buzzsaw that is Seattle on Saturday night. That'll be a tough game because Seattle is always good. They play, by the way, Seattle's home field is Lumen Field. They're one of the teams that plays in the NFL stadium. Which is always a little bit strange, and it's always a little bit shocking, too, to see how that they get that place pretty full, kind of like Atlanta. So anyway, challenging night for City coming up on Saturday. And that brings us to the last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting. With over 38 years in the transportation industry, Dave knows where to look to find those pennies per mile that make the difference between getting by and growth. From one-truck operations to small fleet owners, he has a proven multi-million-dollar track record to help you retrieve bigger profits. If this is the growth you're looking for, contact Dave at 417-217-9622 or David at blackdogconsultingllc.net. You can also check out the website, blackdogconsulting.net. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. Joe Sperlin, what is your last call?
All right, I brought up the Pac-12 because of Texas State going to the Pac-12, which makes all kinds of sense. The new Pac-12, the Conference of Champions. Of course, the holdovers, Oregon State and Washington State, would make a conference of 8. And they also have a thing, I think week 8 or 9 of the college football season, where they have a flexible conference schedule. So they have picked 4 teams that will have home games, and they will determine the schedule the week before to make it anything that's possible, bowl bids or BCS bids.
Jeez.
So they have done something that no other conferences have done. So we have 3. Can you name the other 5 Pac-12 members playing football?
Utah State.
Correct.
Boise State?
Correct.
San Diego State.
Diego State?
San Diego State. Correct. 2 more.
Fresno State?
Fresno State. And the last one is? Sorry, your time is up. The Rams of Colorado State.
Oh, yeah.
Now, can you name the school that is a non-football playing school that will be in
The
the
Zags.
new Pac-12? The Zags,
Zags.
baby. The Zags, baby. There you go.
Yep.
Which basketball, the Zags may have been in a tougher conference than they're in now.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
totally.
quite possible.
So there you go. The new conference of champions.
I'm just trying to think of Missouri State in their new baseball conference, kind of going, oh my, compared to what they used to be in. Wow.
Exactly.
Douglas, what do you have?
Tatsui Imai. I think I say it right.
Started to say,
starting
bless you.
pitcher for Houston, had to go on the IL. He has arm fatigue.
Oh, boy.
The reason he has arm fatigue is he's had trouble adjusting to the American lifestyle.
Mhm.
And one of the main reasons was he eats at the ballpark instead of back at the hotel. So does that mean a fork and spoon is heavier than chopsticks? Is that why you have arm fatigue?
Holy cow.
Will that get us in trouble, Ron?
We'll find out.
So, before you come
Okay.
over here, make sure you can adjust to the American lifestyle.
Did you see he had an excuse in Seattle? He had an outing in Seattle, and I want to say he lasted like 1 1/3.
Mhm.
And did you see his excuse? Did anyone see his excuse?
Was that the time change deal?
The mound was too hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that what you want as a pitcher?
I can't make this up. The mound was too hard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but no, that was it. They ate at the hotel in Japan, and they eat at the ballpark here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That heavy spoon of fork, it'll get you every time.
Oh,
There's some
dear.
guys over here that's from
Shoveling
Japan.
hot
You think
dogs
you
in
would
his
have talked to them?
You would think so. And while we're on the subject of pitchers from Southeast Asia, I did catch this just very late. Ohtani is pitching tonight, and for the first time ever, he is not the designated hitter. That is the first time since he has been with the Dodgers that they have not gone with that sort of arrangement. So I don't know why. Could just be fatigue.
As a fantasy owner with Shohei on my team, and I can't put him in the offensive lineup when he pitches, I'm fine with it.
That's funny how those things change our perspective, isn't it? Mr. Mathis.
So as usual, I'm going to make mine a double. My first thing will be I'm going to talk a couple of Cardinal prospects real quick. Joshua Baez, in the last 5 games, he's hit 5 home runs, picking up a little bit. Jimmy Crooks, in the last 10 games, his OPS is 845, so he's still staying up there pretty good. We've complained about the bullpen, and we wondered if there's anybody who could come up and have a little success. Luis Gastelum, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I believe
Gustellum.
he's
The
sounds
changeup.
good. The changeup artist. He's pitched in 6 games. He's had two saves out of 3 opportunities, 9 Ks in those times, and a 1.10 WHIP, and his ERA is 1.43. So I think we could make room. He's not on the 40-man. That would be the only issue. But I think there's an opportunity we can move someone off Justin Rule and make room for him very quickly. So
That guy's an arsonist. He did it again today.
he did. And I mean, it's the same thing every time. And like you said, they pitch him, it seems like daily.
Every game.
So, my other last call will be last night, the Dodgers had healthcare appreciation night. And Alex and Kayla Vicia, they bought a suite for 30 of the healthcare workers, the doctors, the nurses, and other workers who helped with the death of their newborn daughter last October during the playoffs. And they brought them out. They had them down on the field before the game and just showing their appreciation. But what's really cool is Vesia came in the 9th inning. The Dodgers were winning. He struck out all 3 batters he faced to get the save, and he's very emotional after the game, as you can imagine. But I think that was a very cool thing that they did, and to show their appreciation for all those health workers.
Yeah. Well, you really want to dislike the Dodgers, but when they do stuff like that, and you look over there and there's Freddie Freeman, like laughing with guys at first base, you're like, man, I want to dislike you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And
I like Dave Roberts too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good manager.
It's like, pick up some jerks,
Yeah. And Vesia, I didn't like him at first because he's pretty I don't know what you call it, pretty emotional out there on the mound. But when everything happened with his daughter and everything, I became a fan, and this just made it even a little bit bigger.
Yep.
They need a big trade with the Mets. Get some of the Mets players out there in LA. That would do it.
Hey, they don't want any of the Mets players.
Let's see. No, you keep.
Well, they got one in Edwin Diaz, and he's not been pitching lately. So
no, they're taking him out of save situations.
Yeah.
Doug, you may remember this, and Tom, I think you probably do too. The Cardinals very briefly had a general manager named John Claiborne.
Oh, yeah.
And this was around 78. And he called the Yankees to try to work a trade. And Gabe Paul, apparently, Joe, said, there's no one on your team that we would really want. Thanks. I'm going to save you some time.
Yeah. We're good.
Yeah. So at any rate, so thank you for that double, Tom. So mine is, we're following the transition to streaming sports here. And, we don't talk a lot of NBA, but last night, if you were watching the play-in game between the Hornets and the Heat on Amazon Prime Video, you got to see what one outlet called something akin to the Sopranos finale at a very inopportune time. So there was 123 to 120 was the score between the Hornets and the Heat. And there were 48 seconds to go, and a big thing pops up, kind of like when we were all kids, that said technical difficulties. And it stayed up for almost 2 minutes. And it came back, and then the Hornets were up by 5, and you're like, huh? What? Huh? And needless to say, Prime Video apologized. Dan Shanoff, the writer, said you can get a lot of things wrong on sports TV broadcast, but the cardinal rule is fans have to be able to see the game.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's radio.
Yep.
And heck, they didn't even have that.
So I heard a lot of people compare it to the Heidi football game of the 1960s.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a choice they made to do. But this was just technical difficulties.
And it was an NBA play-in game.
Yeah,
That's true. Which, if you ask, most people to explain an NBA play-in game,
I don't know what ESPN has spent more time doing, breaking down the play-in games or WrestleMania. But boy, they've been spending a lot of time on both of them.
Yeah.
And don't forget the WNBA draft. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now that we,
Ron. Oh no, I didn't say that. Edit that.
now that we have alienated, 60% of the people, I think it's time to bring to an end this episode of the St. And Doug, I'm being told that there is a call for you from a consulate in Southeast Asia. So we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that here shortly. Folks, we want to thank you for putting up with us on this episode of the St. Louis Sportists podcast. Joe Sperlin, thank you, sir.
Always enjoy talking with you guys. It's good to visit with you all.
Doug Lansdowne.
What an invigorating hour this has been.
Yeah. And again, if we don't see Doug, he will be in the bottom of a boat headed to China next week. Tom, thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be with you guys. Enjoy the last Blues game of a very disappointing season.
Very, very disappointing. And we hope that you're not disappointed by this episode of the St. Louis Sportists podcast, and we hope to see you next week. Until then, take care.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportists podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.